Alright, I am back. The weather decided to suddenly start raining, so hopefully my mic isn't picking up too much of that. If it is, hopefully it will be better than the computer fans. So anyway, I had a quick look, and most of this individual's relationships are just simply passing acquaintances. However, they do have a rather sizable family. So, one of the key things to keeping the dwarves happy is, one, keeping their list of relations relatively small. Also, really can't control this one too much, but trying to keep their number of relatives to a minimum. What can happen is, let's say, one of the direct family members dies or is killed, well, usually is killed, dying a natural death, basically, of old age is, well, not a good thing, not completely devastating to an individual. There are several mechanics involved, but it's basically a single large hit instead of potentially several very large hits, as well as several smaller hits to their mood. But what can happen is one of these individuals can be killed, another individual might not be having the best mental state, and the death of a family member sends their mental state plummeting. They get into a fight, potentially with a legendary axe dwarf. Things happen, another family member, they get killed by the axe dwarf, another family member, and things start rapidly spiraling out of control. Surprisingly, in probably 30 fortresses, I have only had that happen once. It was actually quite interesting. I have had it, actually I've only lost a fortress to that once. I have had that happen to a much less extent. Just have one or two dwarves get mad. Actually, I think I had one fortress run out of alcohol. That was very, very interesting. Luckily, a week or so later, a passing group of migrants decided to stop in and stay, and I was able to produce enough alcohol to get everything back running. But that is what is the classic tantrum spiral. One dwarf throws a tantrum, gets killed, sets off two more. Fortresses tend to fall very, very quickly that way. Anyway, back to this ambush. So, sieges are very large. The sieges that I've already had in the, I believe, the 40 individual siege is relatively small. 100, 120 is not really unheard of, especially later on. Especially if you've managed to annoy several of the major civilizations. They'll send in massive, massive military forces to try and remove you from existence. Those you can basically see coming a mile away, and you get lots of warning. Ambushes are smaller in scale, and the first warning sign that you get is usually either, if you're lucky, someone seeing it. However, sight range isn't all that great. More often than not, someone's going to hit a cage trap, and that's going to say, oh yeah, by the way, we've got an ambush incoming that's already hit the first couple of guys have already hit the traps. So you're really hoping that you've got your military ready at that point. Luckily, we do. So, the first thing that we're going to do, and of course I've already taken care of predefining this, is we're going to tell all of our civilians, which is everyone not wearing armor and carrying an axe and ready to knock some skulls, to get into a very much safe location. So to do that, go to military, alerts, go down to active training, tab over 2, and then we're going to enter to restrict civilians to burrow. And we're going to do burrow 1. Now, if we go over to W to make burrows, this does end up taking quite a while, probably 10-15 minutes. But once it's done, it's set, and you're good to go. So what you do is you select an area that's safe-ish, usually behind the traps and the doors, and the more traps and the doors in the military squad, and the more traps and the more doors and the random pits of death. So, because of the way I have this fortress designed, basically anywhere past the front gate and the front set of traps is considered a safe zone. So this lets the civilian doors carry on basically as usual. Just get on with their daily activities. You're going to want to have your farm area inside your burrow. All of your your workshops, ideally, your bedrooms, your hospital, of course, your main meeting area, which is probably also going to be your kitchen and distilleries, all those stockpiles. More bedrooms, more workshops, and realistically, there is no limit to how much you can have inside of a burrow. It's just saying, okay, this is a designated safe area, feel free to roam around, feel free to do whatever, continue on as normal, just stay within this area. Of course, your military is not restricted to this, so they can go out and start thumping people. So, unfortunately, dwarves aren't necessarily the smartest when it comes to pathfinding. However, up here we have, let's do V. So we have a Marksdwarf who is pretty good, an expert Marksdwarf, and an adept Marksdwarf. Well, he's about to get some combat training. Steel crossbow, food, leggings, boots, helm, backpack, quiver, and he's got some bronze bolts. So these guys are, this is why I have a tower here, these guys are ready to defend. Inside here we have some cage traps, and of course, as this is the theoretically lesser of the two entrances, we have our ever popular militia captain, who is our actual mace dwarf, so he's not exactly the guy I was expecting to turn into. Militia captain, leveling. What is this guy's? Oh, this guy actually is just in a squad so that he can get some armor on. The woodcutter squad, basically. They don't really have much. They have, well, in theory they should be picking up some copper armor. It's not much, but in the event of an ambush, probably steel battle axe, copper armor. It's not great, it's not perfect, but it's still a whole lot better chance to lob off an attack those various appendage than these civilians have. So let's go ahead and move this squad here. Move them to the back of the room. And let's see, Professional Mace Dwarf. Leading me to wonder where the my axe squad ran off to. Well, anyway, the reason that the military is here in the first place is for this precise reason. They're going to have to pass through our, at worst, highly trained military squads to get to the rest of the fortress. At worst, our squad of legendary axe dwarves who will just proceed to single-handedly lop off the heads, arms, feet, legs, assorted appendages of the entire squad, or entire ambush, pretty much single-handedly. So hopefully these two dwarves will make it inside. However, that is looking unlikely to happen. However, from above we have... Oh, that's not good. We have our two Marks dwarves, who are... Oh, that's actually very not good. Being attacked, again, being so close to a fortification does slightly negate the defensive bonus. So this individual has slight pain and trouble breathing. They've been shot in the arm. So apparently this person, or this individual, has been upper body cut open, left cheek cut open, left lung is bruised. That's not good. Major injuries. So they will hopefully do their best to repel the invaders. Looks like several of them have already hit the cage traps. And crossbowmen. Right leg, copper bolts. They're being quite thoroughly pelted by arrows. So it looks like the of the five ambushers, 2 are already dead, 3 are in cages, and another ambush. Alright, let's take this opportunity to station our Axe Dwarf squad at the front of the room. They should be collecting themselves there. Something to note about patrols, as basically if something happens and you have, say, 2 dwarves on patrol in a squad of 10, once the first one begins engaging the enemy, they cease to be on patrol, so another dwarf is called in, and the entire squad quickly builds up at the fortification, and they are all attacking the invaders. So once the invaders are sorted out, of course, 8 of the 10 squad members are going to immediately go back to whatever they were doing. 2 of them stay on patrol. I believe it's pretty much at random. And everyone goes to restocks. So unfortunately, these goblin bowmen up here are able to shoot down and are attacking one of their dwarves. So it looks like we're going to be taking a couple of losses, however, hopefully it's not going to be too bad. Zoom. And just to be safe, if you use the Q menu on the door, you can forbid passage, and that will lock the door. Locking a door isn't exactly secure, but it is better than just having an empty or an open door that anyone can walk in. So, that is a snatcher. They're basically, they go onto the map and try to abduct children. So, in the inventory, you have a wool bag with nothing in it. Bag, which unfortunately means that, oops, there is a dead body there. So, let's see, how many more do we have? We have a bowman and a bowman and goblin thief. Goblin thieves are basically, they will run into the map and try to steal any sort of valuable objects. Usually they have a large dagger of some sort, so potentially dangerous to civilians, pretty much completely harmless to anyone with actual armor on. So it looks like we only have 2 bowmen, and it looks like we have bowman 1. Go to the view menu, so iron crossbow, copper helm, iron bow, copper helm. Opposing them, we have steel. Here we go. Legendary Axe Dwarf number 1 with steel armor, steel weapons, steel pretty much everything. Another one, another one, another one. Alrighty. So, the mark stores will not hit their own friendly military units, or civilian units for that matter. So there is no friendly fire in this. That does not count for siege weapons. Those are entirely different, and at some point I may actually get into building and using those. But when it comes to just handheld weapons, there is no friendly fire. So, let's do a little bit of elite military versus goblin noobs. So, go to S for squads, select the squad in question, M2 station, and let's put them right about there. And let's also allow passage and passage. So this is going to be quite interesting. zoom in just a little bit. So here we have, actually that would be, oh yeah, he's already hit the cage. So here we have, and I'm just going to be advancing this step at a time using the period key. So here we have the legendary Dwarf squad. Oh, and one of the opponents already hit the cage. Oops. And let's go ahead and remove that. So this is simply advancing the game one physics tick at a time. And Goblin is running away. And into the cage trap he goes. Oh, shoot. Well, that was somewhat anticlimactic. Oh, and unfortunately the rain seems to be coming back, so I will be wrapping this up here momentarily. So, simply check to make sure that there are no further invaders. There are not. Info military, A for alerts, active/training, and remove the burrow. This will get everyone back to pulling in the wounded, picking up any dropped items, changing out the cage traps, disposing of bodies, so on and so forth, putting in fresh cages, and general maintenance. Actually, I will do that off screen or next time. So, I will wrap it up here, as I have inevitably gone over when I split the episode, so I will probably end up doing a short episode and then a more normal length one. So until next time, stay safe, and do not irritate the legendary Dwarves.